Hello and welcome. It is Tuesday, 27th of August, 2019. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. Like always, all bets, trades, and other like that's always within each's own risk and their own reward. In today's video, we'll take a look at Bitcoin and follow it up within GoChain and the ratio trade. As I trade GoChain against four of the crosses, so I'll give you a quick look at it, but also show situations within creativity where, well, I'll show you when I get there. All right, then. So, as far as Bitcoin is concerned, trend lines, most certainly, lower highs. There has been three hits of this level from the original, well, counting the original, one, two, and three. And as far as uptrend lines, you could probably even go through even some other ones if we end up having a fall through this line. Well, where do we go? And this is not a straight line, but whatever connects this line, hey, we'll see if, of course, it ends up breaking below. We've had a lot of support over the last several days amongst this level here. It's still got a few basis points lower to reach it. The support is a hair below 10,000. Right now it's a hair above it at 10,133. And amongst the short term, we can even see a little bit of a decline, downtrend amongst this. Descending triangle more than anything when you count this. We'll take a look at it now on the shorter term time frame. But before we do, remove the drawings which have been done, scale back some of this movement. Yeah, it looks like it's going to make a break. And when I look at it, there's really the next little target here, probably breaking below here. It looks as if it would have a fast move to 91, 92. What it does from that point on, well, probably if we're going to have any resistance next term, it'd be like hair below 10,000. And breaking down below this, as I've been saying, next key level, mid to low 8,000. And then below that, we're looking at 6,350 area. In shortening out the time frame, 8 hours, what we have, there's this little bit of this downtrend in here. And then we still got, again, this low in here as we were talking about. So breaking down. Now that's about the size of a move I would expect from what would be a break if it does. Here we see a little bit of this failure in here and how it's propelling down with this couple of red moves now. 3 hours and 58 minutes in. So we're halfway through this period, a solid amount of time for it. So it's really difficult right now to give it of the benefit of the doubt. But until it breaks below this, it's still fair game. And you could say it's probably or it's favored to break below it, and in such if it's going to do it, it's probably going to come down here. Well, we'll see. Time will only tell again as well. If you make any bets on it, there's your risk, there's your reward if it works or it doesn't. These markets at any time can give you a wild move in either direction, and then oftentimes when you get it, that wild move, you got to watch out for the sideways move at times. But shortening out to the hour, just a lot of weakness amongst the 18 average of lows from 1 o'clock in the morning, and here we are, 8:02. And this period is 2 minutes in, and it's already got a good red candle down. So it's already breaking down below this short-term key level of support. We're probably going to see better as we shorten in the time frames, 15-minute. There we can see now it's exitation, and there's been a lot of pot times it's been trying to do that. All the 18 lows, and I say a lot of times because there was this time here it tried it. It tried it here again around 5:30, trying again here around 6:30, and then now. And of course, a lower low's not seen in quite some time, going back to uh, almost 2 days. And that's a long time when you're looking at, of course, the 15-minute time frame. Let's move on now to GoChain. But before we do, I pause the tape for about a minute or so, and this candle's down even more. So I do want to see the 4 minute and the 1 minute just to see the magnitude of this move. And I can go back to this at the end of the GoChain analysis to see what's happened. But we've had several periods of decent sized volume comes in here. Not the overall largest of moves, like 1013 down to 1005. That's about a percent. Okay. This is go on the 1 minute, which has just managed to make a move up to 142. I would like to say go a little higher for my. I've made 3 ratio trades for my 4th one of the day. I haven't traded against Litecoin, but I need a little bit of a higher gain to do such. And I also need to get more coins on the exchange. I barely have any on Binance. As for coins on there, when I always usually have some to a degree. If my balance is high, really high, I'll just withdraw them all. So if I need to sell, because it only takes 2 minutes to get on the blockchain, onto the wallet or onto Binance for me to sell and have them confirmed, it only takes 2 minutes or so. I'll just send them when I need to. And then, of course, if I'm buying this coin, whenever I buy a coin, I'll just put an order in for it to sell it. And then at some point, I'm just going to withdraw a bunch of coins when they're worth too much. Like yesterday, I withdrew some Litecoin, I withdrew some Theta, I withdrew some Qtum, and whatever else. I might have one or two other coins, probably. Sky, actually. And so anyway, we'll look at this on the 15-minute Go chain. As I was talking about this yesterday, I was thinking this thing has probably got a decent chance, and yesterday would have been uh, in here even. Yeah, and we can see it's already had two legs higher since then. So it's around 115. And it's had a leg higher up to this 120, and then again right now it's having one as well. So this is an area I'm going to be looking for support now, just like in here. Where did this, in fact, it actually didn't even come back to where it came from here. Although it did hold in there really nicely. It did come back to this little short-term level. On the single hour term time frame, there we can see how nice little pattern of higher highs and higher lows, but very good excitation of this just in this last hour here after this beautiful consolidation amongst the 18 in here, 3 hour term, pretty much the exact same sort of deal. And this is a nice big acceleration because what it's doing is it's breaking up a nice little resistance line in here, which is totally sweet. So this has got the capabilities of having who knows how good of a decent gain. Not coins aren't really going up much today. This is like the third best gainer. It's barely even gaining today. 8 hour term time frame. Um, Nice little move in here. I like how it's been holding this 18 lows. It's gotten above this established level of resistance. Obviously now an area for support on this time frame. We are looking probably to go up to this key area of where we came from, so we can say that we've been there at the lower end. I think it would have to upper range up to about 157, 158. And getting above that, we're talking about this little area here at 182. There's always Fibonacci too that can always be calculated. I will not at this video, as I'll just let it do what it does and play the percentage numbers. On the daily chart, this is an attempt to really establish. I mean, if I go by my, I either you got to look at it two ways. This could be start of a new bull market, but I'd rather like to see this have more correctionary move within the 18, especially with this long decline in the history of all these failed breakouts. But I'll just play the numbers and hope it does something. If it's going to go down next, I just hope it's going to keep doing things like this. This is a spot where it went from 479 up to 800. I guess this isn't the greatest of log charts, and I'm not going to put the better one in. But I'd like to see this just have some decent sized moves up to some very good prices. And a lot of times these cryptos will do just that. So as far as my best gainers, that's how I got it sorted. This is sorted about 30 minutes ago. Go Chain up 9.5% as the top. And the biggest losers being, well, Bitcoin now at 10,000 and Komodo at 2.6% down against Bitcoin. But within the ratios, this is all the crosses that I trade. And there's only 4 crosses that can chain Go. And they're all the top losers, which means Go Chain just being top gainer. Let's first look at Sky and Go, and this one is going down lower. I'm probably, at some point, I could just easily be like, you know what? I'm going to do what I talk about as far as, hey, Theta, can I borrow some Go? And you have no idea what I'm talking about. I will when I show you my spreadsheet. But that's what I'm going to probably have to do, is this thing is just collapsing, nice, capitulating, I don't know how you want to call it. But as far as this goes on the daily, I've had this go up where I sold primarily Sky, and now I've been obviously primarily selling Go, but I mean, I'm kind of running out of Go. Not really though, because I got more, which is why I'm talking about borrowing from Theta. Either way, if what I'm really hoping for is this to go way back up. I'll show you on a mathematical level why that's the case. But if this keeps going lower, that's totally fine with me. So that's the Sky versus Go on the daily time frame. As far as QTUM, we can see in here that just in this little level here, you go for the ratio numbers, 227 down to 177. So 23 tops it, plus 27. That's 50 points of volatility. That's about 30% just over the last 2 days from this low to this high. And it did go up to 330. And I started getting into this thing when it was like way down here. So it's like, okay, that was a lot of QTUM selling to begin. And of course, and the back and forth up and down movements, what I really do like. Because that allows you to just grind extra coins back and forth because, well, they just work out really well to do that. And that's that one. LITECOIN Go, I'm looking to get a buy-in if it, I should have an alert for it. Yeah, I'm looking for a cross below 5,042 in that area. And that would be somewhere around here. So you can see it didn't make it there in that last run that we had. And as the morning went on, I would sell which is the highest, which one needs to be sold first. So I think first it was Sky, then it was QTUM, then it was Theta. But in this case here, we can see how the ratios went from like 3,002 up to close to 9, and now of course back down near the 5,000 handle. And finally the Theta. And obviously, no big bull market run here with the 18 lows, piercing below oftentimes. But this is a monstrous pierce below because you have a good red candle down and then continuation further on the next day. Overall, as far as the numbers are concerned, we've seen it go from close to 12. Now it's about 8 and change. So that's like over 3. And so that's a differential of about like 35 or so plus percent from this low to this high. And then from this low to this high, that's like going 3 1/4 to almost a 3x hit at 12. And 3 1/4 times 3 is close to 10. So it's like a 4x move from the high to the low. And then from this low here, now you're talking about going from about 1. That's over 10x. So there's a lot of big volatility putting this together at times. And amongst the crosses, there's 4 again. And how I got it set up is, well, I got the prices that are put in, the ratio trade, the last trade. So for this one here, last trade at 56.63, which is a manual entry. I just write this in after every trade. This is automatic in here, and then all the trades below. So there's been, we're on row 68 starting on row 15. So there's been about 50 trades of this cross. I'm going to go through this one most in particular. And I have the inventory in here, which is basically taking the starting level that I have plus the sum of these. Because when I make a trade, they're going to go up and down. So it's automatically going to calculate it. But what I like to do is, okay, maybe there's a 12% move. Well, now if there's a 12% move, I want to sell well more than 10%. So I'd want to get rid of, okay, that's like 800, 900 is like close to 20, but here's the problem. My last trade was 1100, and that was way too low. I was thinking, man, I almost got to borrow coins. Because the way I look at it is, I got 24,000 of them here. And I have more than I need. For my last trade, which was at a good move differential, I got rid of 2381, and the move differential was 882 to 980, so that was about 12%. And it's the third trade in a row, and I went from 2715 to 2706 to 27.3. I almost went 2500 because I knew I could afford it. In that, I own 24,000 in here, and before it was like 26,000. So what I might do is, hey, I'm going to take a couple thousand of those and move them over to here. That's probably what I'm going to have to do. And I'm definitely going to do that if my next trade on here is yet another sale. There is 3 sells in a row of this one. And then there was 2 buys. But before that, there was 1, 2, 3 in a row. And then 1. And then, well, just even from July 26th, there has just been way too many sells of this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste everything here. And take a look at this data more in depth in a new spreadsheet and go over a couple strategies and why I'm waiting for. Oh, if Sky can make this ratio go up like in 25% in one big play or more, oh, I'd be loving it. So I got a new spreadsheet and I'm going to paste all the information in. And what we're going to do is, you can see 55. So that's 54 trades on the ratio since the start. Alrighty, so let's take a sum of everything that has been bought and sold of first to go. I am out 3,592 coins. Yeah, I need a little bit of help of extra coins. This way, if another trade comes in, I can maybe sell another 12 or 13 or a lot easier. And in here, I can copy and paste and find out that I'm up almost 80 and a half on the other side. Now, as far as the ratio is concerned, I'm going to copy and paste the formula that I use, and it's going to tell me the ratio is in at 44.64. So what it means is I've overperformed the market based on last trade by 12 basis points, because the market's at 56 and we got 3,592 out. We picked up 80 at that price. So I technically could easily go in the mode here of selling like 80 of those coins and get a huge return. And of course, you can see why I want to have it on a gain setup. But as I mentioned at this earlier, it was all about accumulating that of the Go chain first, because, well, Sky was overperforming it at first. For if we look at the ratio in here, well, where's 109 in here? We got 111 and 112. So what I want to do is, what was it like after July the 24th? I'm just going to remove this data. And at this time, I had a negative 47.6 on the Sky and positive 6,220 on the Go. So I really I was really at this point where, I really want this market to go down. And it did, which was great, because I was I was looking back on my thing, man, I hardly own any of these now because I've gotten rid of like 48. But look at how many Go chain I've got. Oh, especially on other markets, we're probably doing the exact same thing, meaning I was probably buying those coins with the other ones as well. And that's just as it was. And 130.69 meant I'm selling. The price at that point was 112, and I had an average sale at 130. And now that we look at it with things changing as it is, okay, well now instead of having the negative 30, we got the plus 80, and we're actually in the negative side here. But as I look at this, at any time, the market has an aggressive move, especially higher from this ratio of 56. That's why a big, like 20+% move would be like getting it close to, well, it's like 11 or 12 points, so we're talking about close to 70. Then I could just be like, why don't I liquidate like 50 of these at one time, 60 at one time, and I get a huge rollover back, and that would just help propel the rate of ascent moving forward into 2020. But I also realize this thing could keep on going lower to these levels, and I'm just going to let the market do what it does. And when the time stayed, and I can see to myself, man, I have an opportunity where I can do such a deal like that. And I think I'm going to take advantage of it, because ideally what would be so perfect is for a situation to happen where this thing just goes wildly out of control when I happen to be away, like while I'm sleeping or something, and just instantly this thing just pops up, and maybe Sky Coin goes up like 70, 80% in 6 hours or 2 hours. And I'm looking at this here, and I'm okay, I'm gonna make a huge trade. Maybe trade like 55 or 60 right now, and I'm gonna get a large amount of go. And if I can day trade this thereafter for like 5, 6, 7 days, I might be able to like peel away at some back up and down movements, possibly things to look for as well. So let's take a look at Bitcoin to finish off this video. So that will conclude what I wanted to talk about there. Although I might as well take a look at what's going on here. 136 waves with a small rally, I suppose, but not really. And I'm probably going to want to use the tether. What's gold doing? Interesting with gold and silver. Gold's 0.3% up. Silver's now 1.88. Oh my goodness, up to 18. We'll take a look at that. Yeah, but let's first take a look at Bitcoin short term. Then we'll take a look at silver because that's, and then the ratio's got to have a nice little move too. Okay, so let's take a look at this on the 15 because it was breaking down short term. That was that one move there, 4 minute. Consolidating, congesting. Still, you have no idea how this congestion is going to work out. Oftentimes, the first one doesn't usually work out too well. But even on a good level, I mean, when it doesn't, maybe it comes down and it does test like 98 or something and then breaks and moves higher. Who knows? I mean, it can go, as I mentioned, those it could like the next big move could be like 6,300 or like 18,000. I don't know. So gold is. I want to compare gold and silver a little bit because the ratio was doing. I mean, you look at this. This is nice and everything, but and then I can't remember if it's a 1 hour or the 3 hour. I think it was a 1 hour. So you look at the 1 hour here. It's like okay, and there's going to be a big difference with silver. Okay, so now let's go to silver, which is just doing well at 2%. But we could have like 6% days any given time. So it's just going straight up as we can see since 716. It's doing what it's doing. And the 1 hour, as I mentioned, much different. Yeah. It's gotten by this level of resistance at 17 and 7/9. And doing fine. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.